ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for today's Bhakti Shastri class. Today we are continuing with the lesson number 4. In the last class we have completed two texts, that is 4 and 5. Today we are continuing to text number 6, 7 and 8. Three texts will be looked into today. This is text number 6 and 7. Text number 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevānupashyati sarvabhuteshu chātmanam tato na vijugupsate yasmin sarvani bhuta. The same topic. यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मैवा भूद्विजानतः तत्र को मोहः का शोका एकत्वमनुपश्यतः. Okay, these two starts with the same line. Translation: He who sees systematically everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, in quality one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? The text number 6 speaks about Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari in the first 3 paragraphs in the purport. And in the paragraph 4, 5, 6, 7, it is speaking about the oneness. What is the true oneness and what is the false oneness? The comparison between false and real oneness is being described here. And the mantra 7, it speaks about, it is the continuation there. Oneness between energy and energetic. These are some examples. That is, the example is fire. And oneness in quality, not in the quantity. That is the difference between drop and ocean, paragraph 1 and 2. Oneness in interest brings enjoyment, that is family and nation. paragraph 2 to 3. Then separate interest cause shoka and moha. That is paragraph number 4. Become one in interest with God. Paragraph 5 to 6. So totally there are 6 paragraphs in text number 7. Yeah, text number 7. And in text number 6, there are 7 paragraphs. Here in the beginning, it speaks about the Kanishtadikari, Madhyamadikari, and Uttamadikari. We take the first paragraph of text number 1, text number 6. It is speaking about the seeing the Lord everywhere. How to see the Lord everywhere. Kanishtadikari means he is a neophyte devotee, he is a beginner who has just started his spiritual journey. And what is his character nature? It will be like a Kanishtadikari can see the Lord only in the deity form, but he will not be able to identify the Lord's presence in the among the devotees, or he will not be able to understand or deal with the devotees, so that there is a clash, or the Kanishtadikari will sometimes fight with the other devotees, or they will not know how to speak to the devotees, other devotees. He will only see the Lord. He will just pay obeisances to the Lord, and that will be the his understanding. Archameva Haraye. He will be only the worship of the Lord. The deity is the only Lord for him. That is the Kanishtadikari. And in the Madhyamadikari level, the person will be knowing how to deal with people. How it is not Krishna is not only present in the deity form. Krishna is present everywhere, and he is present in the heart of each and every living entity. And all these devotees of the Lord, they are very dear to Krishna, and we have to pay respectful obeisances to all the devotees also. And it is more important to pay obeisances to the devotees more than the Lord himself, because the Lord himself says, the Lord Shiva says to Parvati, what is the greatest worship? That is the worship of the Lord Vishnu. And Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param. And Tadiyan, what is more important than worshipping Aradhananam, this Aradhana of the Vishnu? That is Tadiyanam Samarthanam. Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarthanam. So, what is the greatest worship? That is the worship of the devotee of the Lord. So that will be understood at the Madhyamadikari level. And Madhyamadikari, he is a preacher. He will see the world or the different types of people in 4 ways. What are they? The Madhyamadikari, he will be having prema for the Lord. Ishwareshu, Tadhadineshu, Balisheshu, Dvishashtucha, Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. Ya karoti sa Madhyama. That is, Ishvara means the Lord, and Tadhadineshu means the devotee of the Lord. Balisha means the ignorant people, those who are innocent. And Dvisha means the people who are inimical to the Lord. Dvishashtucha. Then Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. These are the 4 different types of people, different types of dealings that he has with those 4 people. Prema with the Ishvara, that is, with the Lord, he develops the Krishna Prema. And Maitri with the devotees of the Lord. Tadadineshu, Maitri. And Balisha, ignorant people or those who are innocent, for them he will give the Kripa. That is, he will become merciful to them and he will guide them. Whatever help they need, he will provide. And Dvishashchu. Dvisha means one who is inimical, one who is against the worship of the Lord. For them, he is Upeksha. That is, he just neglects them. He will not do anything to them. That is the nature of Madhyama Adhikari. These all are explained in the paragraph number 2. And in the paragraph number 3, it explains about the Uttamadhikari. It begins with the Uttamadhikari who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. A Uttamadhikari, or he is also called a Paramahamsa, he will see this entire world to be spiritual. There is nothing material in this world. The Hamsa means it is the bird swan, it's called Hamsa. And nature of Hamsa is if you mix the milk and water together, the Hamsa will extract only the milk. It will not drink the water. So what does it mean? In this material world, it is a mixture of both. That is, for an atheist, this world looks like a place for enjoyment. But for a devotee, this is the place where one can realize the energy of the Lord. But both are visible. So it is a mixture, water and milk. But for a Paramahamsa, he can only take the essence. That is, this material world, it is working under the control of the Lord. And in each and every activity that is happening in this world, he can see the hand of the Lord. That is Hamsa. The Hamsa is only extracting the milk. Just like Prabhupada, when he went to the Western world, there were people who were hippies, they were drug addicts, they were alcoholic, all these bad habits they had. If any ordinary people, they go to help them, it is very difficult. Oh, these people are not at all cooperating, or they are not at all interested in spirituality. Why should I spend my time? Why should I waste my time? That is the way how others will see. But for a Paramahamsa, he will see these all are part and parcel of the Lord. But because they have forgotten their original state, they are at this position. They are behaving like this. But once they get the opportunity to serve the Lord, or once they understand what is the real purpose of life, they will also become devotees. So that devotional aspect which is present in each and every living entity, that is visible to the Paramahamsa. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakta Sadhya Kabunaya Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karayodaya. Every living entity, it may be a human being, animal, birds, anything it may be, they all are devotees of the Lord. But only the time is separating. The love for the Lord is present in each and every heart, every person's heart. The problem is it is covered now. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The mirror which is compared to the mind which is compared to the mirror, it is covered with so much of dirt that it is not at all showing any symptoms of a mirror. So much thick dirt is present, because of which people are behaving atheistically. But once it is cleared, then they can become devotees of the Lord. The Paramahamsa, he can bring the devotees to the highest platform of spirituality. So what is the Paramahamsa level? The nature of Paramahamsa is Thavara Jangama Deke Na Deke Taramurti Sarvatra Haya Nija Ishtadeva Spurti. Whether he sees as Thavara or Jangama. Thavara means one which is not moving. Jangama means one which is moving. So anything we can see in this world, it can be categorized into two parts, moving and non-moving. That is, so either moving things you see or non-moving things you see. Everything is a part and parcel of Krishna. Na deki taramurti. He will not see the material form of that object. Sarvatra haya nija ishtadeva spurti. He will see the ishtadeva, the Lord present in each and every living entity, each and every object. The Lord is present. He is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. He is all powerful. He knows everything, and he is present everywhere. That is the nature of the Lord. That is the symptom of a Uttamadhikari. A Uttamadhikari will not see anybody as a non-devotee. So Uttamadhikari, he will not preach. He cannot preach because he will see the entire world to be devotees. Nobody is non-devotee. Everyone is devotee. Except me, everyone is devotee. That is the nature of a Uttamadhikari. At that state, he cannot preach. Just like if you Radharani, anybody approaches Radharani, she will recommend that person to serve the Lord. And she thinks she herself is not a devotee and rest all are devotees. That is the nature of a Uttamadhikari. For preaching purpose, a Uttamadhikari also should come to the level of a Madhyamadhikari. So who is a preacher? He is a Uttamadhikari in the mood of Madhyamadhikari. Why it is told so? Because Madhyamadhikari has to make the discrimination. Without making discrimination, it is not possible to preach. A spiritual master, he will check the temperature of his disciple. What is his status? How he is living his life? What is his daily routine? What he is doing? And what are the changes that he has to make? All these things he has to suggest him, and he has to guide him. This is all possible only in the Madhyamadhikari level. And we cannot preach to each and every person. There are people who would never take to Krishna consciousness even after putting any amount of endeavor. So such people, they should be just neglect them, upeksha. And those who are balisha, those who are trying to come to Krishna consciousness, we should help them. Whatever guidance they need, we have to give them so that Krishna will be pleased. It is not that we are going to deliver them. We are just taking the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and previous acharyas, and we are just becoming like a postman. We take the teachings and guidance and give it to that person, and he will also be able to come to the proper standard of devotional life. And if we meet any devotee, they are great devotees, we should not become envious of them. We should take their blessings, and by their guidance, we can improve our devotional life. And because of this also, Krishna will be pleased. And the Lord is there in each and every person's heart. And achieving Krishna Prema, that is the goal of life. And one who achieves this Krishna Prema, he can go back to Godhead, back to Krishna. That is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's the shloka says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratyushana. He is Mahavadanyaya. Mahavadanyaya is the most merciful person. Why? Because even though we are not qualified to achieve or to accept this Krishna consciousness, he has distributed it to everyone. Patra, apatra, na dekhi. Whether somebody is qualified or not qualified, he has not seen. He has just distributed it because the process is so powerful. The person may be in any condition. The person, he may be a most degraded person also. Apichetsu duracharo bhajate mam ananya. Sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito visa. A person may be in a most degraded life. He might have done all kinds of sinful activity, just like the Ajamila. But there is a chance for him also to come to Krishna consciousness, because this process of devotional life or chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that as soon as a person begins to chant the holy name of the Lord, all the sinful reactions that he has accumulated over so many millions of life, everything gets burnt. Because of which all the obstacles for performing the devotional service will be removed. Because of which a person can easily come to the standard of a proper spiritual practice. That is the Uttamadhikari level, Madhyamadhikari and Kanishtadhikari explained in the first 3 paragraphs. And oneness, the word oneness, that is ekatvam anupashyataha. This oneness, when we hear the word oneness, we also remember the Mayavadi philosophy. Mayavadi philosophy says that me and God is same. There is no difference. Now I have forgotten that I am God, but by practice, I can revive my forgetfulness. And when I remember that I am God, then there is no difference between me and God. It is all one. There is no separate God. I myself is God. So for this, there is a difficult problem with this argument. If we are God, then why or how we came under the influence of Maya or the illusion? Why I am in the illusion of bodily platform? Why I am thinking I am the body? If I am not the, if I am the God, then why do I feel that I am the body? And what is the symptom that I am in the bodily consciousness? Because whenever anything happens to this body, I feel the pain. And I deliberately think that it is all problems which has come upon me only. I'll take it for personally. So that shows that I am in the bodily concept of life. So why do I think that I am the body? Then if we say you are God and you have come under the influence of Maya, then Maya is greater than God. If Maya can cover the God to such an extent, the God himself forgets his original consciousness, the constitutional position of the person, then the Maya is more powerful than God himself. That's why this philosophy is called as Mayavada. Maya is the most powerful, which can cover the Lord. Then it's called Mayavada. But here the oneness which is explained here, it is not the quantitative oneness, or it is not that the living entity gives up his original identity after getting liberated from this material world of birth, death, old age, and disease. The person will continues to remain as an individual person. He will not forget his individual identity. But what is that oneness happens there? We are qualitatively one. Quality is same, but quantity is different. The example is the fire, the main fire or the big fire and a small spark. Quality is same, both are having the quality of burning, but quantity is different. When the spark gets separated from the original fire, the spark will lose all its qualities of a fire. It will not be able to burn anymore. That's how the living entity, when he takes up this material world, material body, and comes to this material world, he will lose his spiritual character, spiritual nature, which is called Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda, this nature of the living entity, which is eternal, blissful, and all knowledgeable, will be lost when a person comes to this material world. But once he realizes, or once he comes out of this illusion and goes back to Godhead, he can revive all this nature. But for the Lord, there is no forgetfulness. He is always Satchidananda Vigraha. He is always eternal, blissful, and all knowable. That is the difference between Jiva and the Lord. This is explained even more in the next coming shloka, that is mantra number 7. The first paragraph, it explains about the first example, that is the fire and the spark. The spark is small, the fire is the big, and it has all the nature of a fire, and spark is glittering only when it is connected to the fire. And also the qualitative oneness and quantitatively we are different. The example is drop of ocean. This is explained in the paragraph number 2, page number 43 in my book. So there are the ocean is having its nature, that is ocean water is salty, we know that. And if we want to test the quality of the ocean, what are its ingredients, we don't have to check everything from the ocean. We don't have to bring all the water from the ocean for testing. Just take some sample, some drops you take, and you can check what is the constituents of that drop of water. It will be same throughout the ocean. It will be same. So that is the difference between drop and the original ocean. The original ocean and drop has same nature. Both are salty, but it is different in the quantity. How the quantity matters. A big ocean can lift a ship. A ship can float on the ocean, but a drop of water, it just gets dried when it falls on a surface. That is the difference between a drop and a ocean. In ocean, there are so many living entities. There are so many big fishes in the ocean. It is a place for living for all those living entities. But in a drop of water, there is no such living entity, any big living entity. Maybe some microbians may be there. But the facility for living the aquatics is available in the ocean. So the qualitatively, we and the Lord are same, but quantity, there is lot of difference. And there is oneness in the interest, that is in a family or in a nation. This is paragraph number 2 and 3. There is a similarity or oneness. What is that similarity? The family will have certain interest. The nation will have certain interest. The family wants to live happily by helping each other, and this is a common interest for all. Every person in a family, they will expect certain things in the family which is same for all. Just like the breakfast or lunch or dinner, these things, it is needed for all. Nobody can go against it, or they will not be opposing it. It is a common interest. It is needed for all. Or for a nation, how it is having all the facilities for living for the every citizens of a nation, it is needed for everyone. Nobody is going to oppose that. So there is a common interest for everyone, so that everyone can live happily. So in that common interest, which brings the enjoyment for everyone. In that sense, there is oneness. But at the same time, there is difference. Every family member, they have their personal interest, or every person is a individual person. They are not lost their identity when they are in the family or in the nation. Every person has his original nature, original identity, and that is different from another person. No two people are same. Their desires, their interest, everything will be, there is a difference. But at the same time, there is a similarity, or there is common interest for everyone. So that is the difference between one and difference. At the same time, in the paragraph number 4, you can see, if there is no common interest, if we try to become separate, the 4th paragraph begins with the sentence, a godless civilization arises from illusion, and the result of such a civilization is lamentation. When we forget Lord, that is possible only in illusion, because the Lord is present everywhere. Any sane man, if he thinks for a while, by looking around, when the things are going on in a proper manner, he can realize that there is God. But if he is not believing in God, or if he is thinking that there is no God, it is possible only in the illusion. And by such illusory civilization, what happens? The result will be lamentation. Everything will go in vain, whatever we do, because a godless civilization does not believe in the presence of the soul. And in this body, except the soul, everything gets destroyed at the time of death. So whatever we do, it is all waste. So in this lifetime, the person will think that as much as possible, I will get the sense gratificatory objects, and I will enjoy it, and I will become happy as much as possible. But it is true that you can get any amount of sense gratificatory objects, it will not make you completely happy. It will only bring shoka and moha. Shoka means you are lamenting. Moha means you are getting more and more attached to those objects of sense gratification. The supply is limited in this material world for the enjoyment of these senses, the material senses, and because of that there is shoka and moha. Now, how to solve this problem? One has to become one in interest with the Lord. That is Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. When a person becomes one in interest with the Lord, how to become one in interest with the Lord? We should know what is the teachings of the Lord, what is the instructions for by the Lord for all the living entities. That is in the form of scriptures, the Vedas, which are like the manuals for human being. Athato Brahma Jijnasa. Understand who am I, understand who is God, understand what is the relation between me and God, and how to re-establish this lost connection. And by doing so, a person can become happy. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. This is the instruction of Krishna to Arjuna. What is the interest of God? Interest that is become one in the interest with the Lord is surrender into the Lord. Complete surrender to the Lord, to the interest of the Lord, to the instructions of the Lord will make a person happy. That is the real way to become happy, not by sense gratification. Ehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. As we cannot satisfy fire by supplying the fuel, we cannot become happy by enjoying the sense gratificatory objects. Because as we go on increasing the limit of our sense gratification, the senses will ask for more and more and more. And this sense gratification, when it crosses a limit, it will bring diseases because our body is limited. And diseases means it's creating a problem, the difficulty. So one has to suffer. So either you increase the sense gratificatory objects or decrease the sense gratificatory object. In all the ways, it is going to bring the shoka and moha. So the only way how to get rid of this, that is worship of the Lord, surrendering to the Lord. When we surrender to the Lord, our senses become like the snake which has lost its teeth. Yat karunya kataksha vaibhavatam tam gauram evastumaha. When we get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the senses will not bite us. What is the biting of senses? When a person he gets some thought of sense gratification, until the person gets that sense gratificatory objects, it will keep on biting him, or it will keep on asking him. That is biting of the senses. But when we surrender to the Lord, when we use our senses in the service of the Lord, these senses will become like the toothless snake, which cannot bite anyone. It will only become a servant in the service of the Lord. That is how the person can become happy. And this happiness is not because of material adjustment. It is because the person has understood what is his constitutional position. Jivera Swarupahaya Nitya Krishnera Dasa. When we understand this, that we are the eternal servant of the Lord, it is like the child is going to the lap of the mother. When we try to pacify a small child, you may give toys, eating, or anything you can do. The child will not stop crying. It will cry. It will stop crying only when it reaches its mother. This is true for small children. So when it is crying, only mother can pacify the child. No other things can pacify. Similarly, we try to become happy in so many ways. So many sense gratificatory objects or so many material things we try to possess, but none of them will make us happy. The only thing which can make us happy, connect ourselves in the interest of the Lord. That is the text number 7. Ekatvam anupashyataha. Anupashyata means following in the footsteps of the spiritual master, our predecessors, acharyas, by the constantly see through the authority of the previous acharyas. Otherwise, we don't have any capacity to understand what is our position. But those people, those who are Tattvadarshi, those people who have understood what is this material world and how the Lord is acting here and why we have to surrender to the Lord, when we see through their authority, our Pratyaksha Pramana or Anumana Pramana is not going to help. It is only the Shabda Pramana from the proper authority which is going to help us. That is called Anupashyataha. Pashya means to see in Sanskrit. Anybody would like to read? Can raise their hand. Muralidhar Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
The Ishopanishad advises Ekatvam Anupashyata. A devotee should see the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be situated in everyone's heart and should also see every living entity as an eternal servant of the Lord. This vision is called Ekatvam oneness. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this is called oneness. So it is not that a person loses his identity after liberation. The real oneness is, you can see here, the person who is in knowledge, he can see the Paramatma in each and every living entity. Radha Vallabhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Ekatvam anupasyate, mantra 7. Although there is a relationship of master and servant, both master and servant are one because of their spiritual identity. This is also known Ekatvam. Thus, the conception of Ekatvam for the Vaishnava is different from that of a Mayavadi. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.12. Srila Prabhupada teaching.
Right. This Ishopanishad is like we can have different types of interpretation, or people can comment on it in so many ways. So unless we hear from the proper authority, we can derive any conclusion that a person may like. So we should be very careful to hear from the Parampara Acharya. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just as in a family, the interest of all members is one, or in a nation, the national interest is one, although there are many different individual citizens, since the living entities are all members of the same supreme family, their interests are that of supreme being and are not different. Mantra 6 purport. Srila Prabhupada teacher.
Let us continue to the text number 8. This is speaking about the spiritual body of the Lord. Sapariyaga chukramakaya avrinam asnaviram shuddhama papa vidham kavir manishi paribhu swayambhur yathat yathothan vyadadat shashvatibhya samabhyaha. Sureshwar Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Mantra 8. Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self-sufficient philosopher, who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. There are totally 8 paragraphs in the purport. The first paragraph speaks about Akaya. Kaya means body. Akaya means he is not having the body. or unembodied. Asnaviram means he doesn't have veins. Shukram means he is omnipotent. Yathatyato artha, fulfiller of desires. That is 5 to 6. Paribhu, he is the supreme. Swayambhu, self-sufficient. Shuddham, antiseptic, and Apapavidham, prophylactic. These are the natures of the Supreme Lord. Now, the living entities, they are called as embodied. What is the meaning of embodied?
Only soul.
Yes. Yeah, somebody answered. What is that? Okay. So embodied means one who has taken the body. When we say empowered, empowered means a person is given the power. That means he does not have the power. He has been given the power. Just like a traffic police, he stands in the near the traffic signal and he can stop all the vehicles and he can check them and he can do all these things only at the order of the government. The government has empowered him. He is having the power, taken the power from the government. As long as he is a servant of the government, he has that power. And as soon as he is given up that power, or he is retired or whatever, he doesn't have that power. So that is called empowerment. So that power doesn't belong to him. Similarly, the living entity, they are called as embodied. What does it mean, embodied? That means the body is given to the living entity. The body does not belong to the living entity. This body is given by this Mother Earth or material nature to the living entity for a certain period of time. And after you give up this body, you are not embodied. Or in the other way, you are not empowered. Just like the policeman. He is not empowered. Similarly, we are not embodied. That is one meaning of embodiment and unembodiment. For the Lord, it is called akayam. That means he doesn't have body. Now, what is the need of saying that asnaviram, without veins? What are the veins? Veins are the blood vessels or blood veins which are present in our body, as doctors know more than me. So these veins will supply the blood to every part of the body. What is the need of saying again asnaviram? Just like the person doesn't have a car, and you don't have to say that he doesn't have a steering separately, because it is understood. Because he doesn't have a car, how can he have a steering only? Nobody can have only a steering without a car. So the sentence says that akayam, the Lord is unembodied. Again, he is telling, the mantra is telling, he is asnaviram. He doesn't have veins. That is, he doesn't have the blood veins. Anybody can answer this? Why again it is told? It is understood, no? When you say the Lord has no body, or anybody doesn't have body, means he will not have veins. Why it is told? You can unmute yourself directly. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Pranam. Prabhuji, two things as you mentioned. So one could be to emphasize further that Krishna, he is unembodied because the form that he has is transcendental. So they are further explaining that you need for the oxygen and for the blood has to be supplied everywhere. You need the veins where everything has to be transferred. But when he doesn't have body, it means to specify, to emphasize further that he doesn't need any veins for his any particular body. The functioning of his body doesn't work like it happens for us.
Yeah.
This is what I understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. Anybody else want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare. Okay, Sureshwar Priyamataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, his body is not made of Panchabhuta, mind, intelligence, and false ego. His body is spiritual, and again, it is not having subjected to any type of change. All these things are happening in the material body, where you will find all the various parts are present for various activities. Just like Diti Mataji said, one part can do any other work of any other part. So all these things are not at all connected for him because he is spiritual. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Sarita Kapoor Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Actually, Prabhuji, the veins and the arteries are the integral part of any human, of any living entity. So, carrying on the oxygen and the deoxygenated blood from the heart and towards the heart. Now, that is the basic of every survival of every living entity. So, but here they trying to explain that this is not there in the Lord. So, otherwise, person would think that no, that can't exist. It can't exist as such. But his body is not even as an open blood flow system. It is not there. Some creatures have an open blood flow that they just blood flows and goes into directly takes up the oxygen. But that also is not there. He doesn't have those veins at all. So that they're trying to explain over here that his body is very different from ours. There is a distinction between the two. This is a material body, that is a spiritual body. Then secondly, that he, as Mataji just said, that it doesn't undergo any change. Like we have growing and aging and all the 6 processes which happen for us, but that is not there for him. And thirdly, that the body is non-destructible. For us, it's a destructible body, which will have its end. This will not have its end. It is always eternal and transcendental. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
wanted to add one point here.
Yeah.
So here it is said he is unembodied. So as you said, embodied means given. The person is given a body. So when here it is said he is unembodied, that means he is not given a body, but he has a body. He's not given a body, but he has a body. So, and second statement is he does not have veins. That means that he does not have a material body. He is not given a body, but he has a body. And second thing, he does not have material body. That means he has a spiritual body. So that too, that's why both these sentences are used in this context.
Yes,
That's what I understand.
exactly.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would like to add one point which I understand also along with all the additional points which all the Matajis have told. That here, since as an Jivatma, we have a soul and a body, they are two different entities. But in the case of the Lord, the Supreme Lord, the soul and the body, it is a single thing. And God, there is no difference between Lord, soul and body the way it is in our case. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, you all are given the right answer. So unembodied, it means that the Lord has body, but he is not given the body, but he has the body. But some people, they think, because in English we can say unembodied separately, but here if you are just saying akayam, one who doesn't have the body, it can mean in so many ways. So people say the Lord is impersonal. He doesn't have the body. He has distributed himself everywhere. So he doesn't have a separate identity. So that is again, it will lead to the impersonal way of understanding the Lord. So it is again told Ashnaviram. That means Ashnaviram means it is the veins. Veins are present in the body. But for the Lord, veins are not there, means he has the body without veins, which means that his body is spiritual. So Akayam and then Ashnaviram. Akayam says that he doesn't have the body, and Ashnaviram says that the body which he has doesn't have the veins. That means he has a spiritual body. So in that way, Akayam and Ashnaviram both together gives the meaning that the Lord's body is spiritual. His spiritual identity is explained here. Then comes Shukram, that is text number 2 to 4. The Lord is omnipotent. What is that omnipotent means? It's a continuation from the previous. The Lord's body can do the activity of every other limb. That is, Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. Ananda chinmaya sadujjala vigrahasya govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. Brahma Samhita 5.32. It says that the body or limbs of the body of the Lord can do the activity of any other limb. His eyes can, just like our eyes can see, but his eyes, through his eyes, he can accept the bhoga, or through his glances, he can do the creation. Like that, he can do any other activity through any of the senses that he has. That is the meaning of Shukram. And the Lord also expands into so many expansions. The Lord expands into Balaram and Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Kurma, Varaha, Matsya. All these expansions are possible for the Lord being omnipresent, omnipotent. The Lord also comes in the form of a deity, Archa Vigraha. And through that deity form, he can accept everything. He can accept our prayers. He can accept the flower garland that we offer him. He can accept the bhoga, and he can give the prasadam. He can give the blessings. He can listen to us. So all these things, it shows that he is Shukram, or he is the omnipotent person. And only a person who is foolish, he will think that the Lord is just like an ordinary human being, because he is seeing through the material eyes. Through the material eyes, it looks like, even if you see the Lord, he looks like an ordinary person. Just like for Duryodhana, Lord Krishna was looking like an ordinary person. Even if he sees the universal form of the Lord, but still he will think that he is doing some magic. He will not accept that he is Lord, because he has not taken Anupashyataha, the previous verse. He is not seeing through the experience of spiritual master or the acharyas who comes in the parampara. Yathatyatho arthan, fulfiller of desires. The Lord is maintaining us. He is sanctioning all our requirements, and he is doing the reciprocation. He is giving everything that are needed for our living. Everything is given to us, and we are having some unworthy aspiration, because of which we think that the Lord is not giving me everything. But actually, he is our maintainer, and he is giving everything. But because of the influence of Maya, we think that we are not able to see the Lord. And the Lord is always reciprocating with the living entity. And Paribhu means he is the supreme. This is the 7th paragraph. He is the supreme. Nobody is equal to him. Nobody is greater than him. The Lord is the omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Natasya karyam karanam sa vidyate, natasya sama adhikascha drishyate. Parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate, swabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha. And he is the Swayambhu, self-sufficient. He is called as Atma Rama. That means he is happy within himself. He don't need anything extra, anything from outside. He doesn't need for becoming happy. That is the first invocation mantra. Purnamadaha Purnamidam. The Lord is independently Purna, complete. But the living entity is dependent, complete. The living entity is complete only when he is in contact with the Supreme. Just like the spark is glittering only when it is in touch with the fire. Otherwise, it has no power. But for the Lord, he is self-sufficient. He is the Atma Rama. When the Lord Krishna, when he was a small child, he killed so many demons, which is impossible for anybody Forget about small children. And he has not gained this energy to process. After taking birth, he did some activities so that he gained some siddhi. Nothing like that. It is all natural for him. It is all present in him. Then comes the word Shuddham. Shuddham apapa vidham. Sarita Kapoor Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Pranam to all. Apapa Vidham Mantra 8. This is the most important part of this verse. No sin can pollute Krishna. There cannot be any sinful action. Your laws cannot restrict Krishna. For you, there may be so many restrictive laws. Sometimes less intelligent class of men, they criticize Krishna, how he enjoyed the company of so many young girls.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you can continue.
They were wives of other persons. So how it is so? So the answer was given that Krishna cannot be contaminated. Rather, anything comes to Krishna, even with contaminated mind, becomes purified. Shri Ishwar Nishad Lecture, Los Angeles, May 11, 1970. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So this is Shuddham Apapa Vidham. Shuddham means antiseptic and Apapa Vidham means prophylactic. That is, he is the purifying and he himself never gets contaminated. He is purifying always. If anything comes in contact with him, he will purify it and he himself never gets contaminated. That is the nature of the Lord. That is the nature of the holy name of the Lord. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhinnatvat Nama Namine. The holy name is Purna Shuddha, always pure, and Nitya Mukta, never get contaminated. The same meaning is coming here also. The sun example also given. The sun Tejesham na doshaye. When the sun is evaporating water from filthy place, the place gets purified, but the sun never gets contaminated. Deepti Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shuddha, most purifying. The sun extracts moisture from untouchable place, yet it remains pure. Purifies obnoxious things by virtue of its sterilizing powers. Mantra 8 purport. Sri Prabhupada Ji. Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
So what are the things we learned today? Discuss the main philosophical points. This is in the last class also, from 4 to 8. Taddure tadvantike ekatvam anupashyataha shuddham apapa vidham. So these are the points we have discussed in the entire lesson number 4. Shri Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. In
Yes.
his childhood, he killed many powerful demons such as Aghasura, Bakasura, and Shaktasura. And there was no question of his having acquired such power through any extraneous endeavor. He lifted Govardhan Hill without ever practicing weightlifting. He danced with the gopis without social restriction and without reproach.
Continue.
Although the gopis approached him with a paramour's feeling of love, the relationship between the gopis and Lord Krishna was worshipped even by Lord Chaitanya, who was a strict sannyasi and rigid follower of disciplinary regulations. Mantra 8 purport. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhu. Lord Krishna is so pure that even if we chant the holy name of the Lord, our mind will become free from the material desires or the negative thoughts or bad thoughts. Everything will go away, and the yogis will give up the desire for sense gratification completely when they are perfect. That means all material contaminations will be removed just by thinking of the Lord, just by the holy name of the Lord, just by hearing the pastime of the Lord. Then how the Lord himself gets attracted to anything material? That is impossible. So whatever the Lord has shown his past tense, it is all spiritual. Okay, so with this we have come to the end of today's session. I think the kirtan can, we can do the kirtan. Who is doing Mataji?
Sarita Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Sarita Mataji.
Just a minute, I'll make the co-host.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So this is a song, Mama Mana Mandire, written by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakura. Mama Mana Mandire, Rahani Shivi, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari, Mama Mana Mandire, Rahani Shivi, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari, Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan, Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan, Tumi niyo he niyo, Chitanandan, Tumi niyo he niyo, Chitanandan. Jivana Marana Tava Puja Nivedan, Jivana Marana Tava Puja Nivedan, Sundar hai manahare, Sundar hai manahare, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari, Mama Mana Mandire, Rahani Shivi, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari, Yeshonanda Kumar, Arananda Kumar, Yeshonanda Kumar, Arananda Kumar, Habe Prema Pradipe Arati Tomar, Habe Prema Pradipe Arati Tomar, Nayana Jamuna Jariya Nibar, Nayana Jamuna Jariya Nibar, तुम्हार विरहे गिरिधारी, तुम्हार विरहे गिरिधारी, कृष्ण मुरारी, श्री कृष्ण मुरारी, मम मन मंदिरे, रहनि सीधी, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari, Bandhana Gane Tava Bajuk Jivana, Bandhana Gane Tava Bajuk Jivana, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari, Mama Mana Mandire, Rahani Shivi, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would you like to read translation?
Yeah, yes, sir. Translation. Please abide in the temple of my heart, both day and night, O Krishna Murari, O Krishna Murari. Devotion, love for flower garlands and sandalwood, Please accept them, O delighter of the heart. In life or in death, I worship you with these offerings, beautiful one, O enchanter of the heart. Come, son of Nanda, and then, O son of Nanda, I will offer your Aarti ceremony with the lamp light of my love. The waters of the Yamuna river cascade incessantly from my eyes in your suppression, O holder of Govardhana hill. May I pass my life absorbed only in the songs of your praise, O Krishna Murari, O Krishna Murari. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, we have come to the end of the session. Anybody has questions, they can raise their hand and ask your questions. Sureshwar Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I want to ask you one question from last session, that is Mantra 5.
Okay.
So there we were just discussing about the 3 stages of understanding the deities.
Yeah.
So the answer would be that Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. No?
Yeah.
Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Okay, please repeat the question. I was a little distracted.
The 3 stages of understanding the deity. We were talking about Archavigraha.
Yes.
So there, the 3 stages of understanding the deity.
No. This is the realization of the Supreme Lord, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. That is spoken in the, see, when you are second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when we hear Sri Bhagavan Vacha, there itself these teachings will start. What are the 3 aspects of the realizing the Supreme Lord? Brahman is the beginning, that is, the person is only able to see the energy of the Lord everywhere present. And Paramatma feature is the Lord is present in each and every living entity's heart. And Bhagavan is the 6 opulences of the Lord and pastimes of the Lord. All these things realized.
My question is something, the 3 stages of understanding the deities. What are the 3 different stages of understanding?
Okay, you are giving answer also, that made me confusion. Okay, the deities are understood in 3 ways. That is the material understanding. That is, if you see the deities as a what is the some material things. That is, there are some terms are there. Just a minute. It is in 5th
mantra.
I'll give you the exact in Sanskrit word which is used for identifying it. Yeah, it is called Jadamaya, Manomaya, and Chinmaya. These are the 3 things which are used to describe that. In Jadamaya means it is just a statue. And Manomaya means it's a symbol of representation of the absolute truth. That is, the person will see that this is the form of the Lord who is present in the spiritual world. And Chinmaya means there is no difference between the Lord and the deity which is present in front of me. That is Chinmaya. These are the 3 terms used: Jadamaya, Manomaya, and Chinmaya.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I understood now.
Okay. Actually, what happened was you gave the question, and again you only answered the question wrongly. So I got confused.
No, what happened? I was not getting only the answer. Yesterday we were discussing this in our class, Bhakti, Bhakti Vrisha class. So then we were not getting the answers. We thought we'll ask you only once again. And one more thing, Prabhuji, again, it is an old question. I want to clarify once again. The difference between, not difference exactly, I want to know what is Lalsamai and Lavlyam.
That is
It
NOD.
was there in the last paper, that question was there.
Yeah.
And I wrote that answer with so much of confidence and it turned to be wrong.
Lavlyam means desire, intense desire for serving the Lord. Generally, Lavlya in material terms, it is not good. Hankering for something which we cannot just control. I need it means I need. That is the intense desire. But that is same thing when it is turned towards the Lord. It may be any small service. I want to fan the Lord, or I want to offer flower to the Lord. That is sang in the form of a poem. E nivedana dharo sakhiranu gata koro seva adhikara diye koro nija dasi. That is Tulsi Maharani's prayer. Please hear this prayer and give me a opportunity to serve the Lord. That is Lalasa. And yeah.
We want to worship him in a particular format, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank
And
you so much.
what you asked?
Make a pardon? No, I
Lalasa.
just asked. I was asking you what is Lavlyam and what is Lalsamai. So actually Lavlyam means it is an intense desire that under any circumstances I want to have. That is the type of desire one will have. That is Lavlyam. And that is not taken in the right spirit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Lalsamai means actually it is a request. Again, it is an intense desire to serve the Lord. Is it so?
Right. Yeah. I am getting confused. Lalasa, and what is the difference between Lalasa and Lavlya? Which chapter it comes?
This is Nectar of Devotion, last examination.
Yeah, that's true, Mataji.
Prabhuji, it is that Sarup Siddhi, that one. Desire to go back to our constitutional position.
It comes in Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, I think, or Sadhana Bhakti. Anyhow, I'll check and tell you, Mataji, later. I don't know.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you for today's lecture. Hare Krishna.
Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Kanishta Adhikari, what is the shloka? Because you mentioned about Madhyama Adhikari.
Archameva Haraye. That it starts like that.
Archameva Hariye.
Just a minute. Give you the text number. Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 47 shloka.
Okay. Prabhuji, for Uttama Adhikari, you mentioned from Chaitanya Charitamrita, no?
Yeah, it is not exactly Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is quoted there. Just what is the exact shloka it comes? Just a minute.
Sorry, Prabhuji, the Kanishta, that Adhikari verse, you said 2.47?
11.2.47.
11 point. Okay.
You can check in the book. So, Ishware Tadadineshu, it is also coming under 11th chapter. Same, Mataji. It's all series of text.
Okay, 46 is Madhyama Adhikari, 47 is Kanishta. And Uttama, Prabhuji?
Uttama, it is that is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Stavare Jangama Deke Nade. And Uttamadhikari, there must be what is 48 there? Even engaging his senses in contact with also.
Bhagavattama.
Yeah, that is well.
That
48.
is, yeah.
46, 47, 48.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Kanishta,
Prabhuji.
Madhyama, Uttama. Yeah, 3 are there. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Sarita Kapoor Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I want to just clarify that from the first level, we've been taught that Krishna is a person, he's a person. That is what has been taught. So now also we are trying to repeat that's a person, but his body is different from what is an unembodied. He's in the personal form. This is a little confusing for me. Can you clarify it, Prabhuji?
Yeah, the Lord is a person
Hmm.
and he doesn't have a body like us. He has a spiritual body. And there is no separate soul for the Lord. It is all same. For us, the soul is different from the body, but for the Lord, the spiritual body. Actually, we also have spiritual body, which is covered with the material body which we have at present. But for the Lord, when he comes here, he is coming Sambhavami Atma Maya. He is coming directly what is the Yoga Maya, which is present. It is not that, Krishna, when he was fighting in the Kurukshetra war, Bhishmacharya throws arrows at him. And it is said that the blood was coming from Krishna's body. There in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, actually, the Lord's body doesn't have this, our material body, the blood, bones, skin, all these things, they are not there like our body, which is made of 5 elements. But as a pastime, the Lord is creating all these things. Which means to say that the qualities of our body doesn't exist in the body of the Lord. It is like you make a sugar, you take the sugar, with the sugar if you make a doll, that doll is entirely sugar, made of sugar. If you open it, it is inside sugar, outside it is sugar. Kaya, akaya, there is a shloka for that also. It is entire same. There is no difference. In our body, like if open our body, it has all material things. But for the Lord, there is nothing like soul. Again, around the soul, there is Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body. Over that, there is gross body. All these things are there for the living entity. But for the Lord, there is no such things. It is the only one spiritual body which is present. But people, those are impersonal, they think that originally the Lord has no body, but he accepts a body when he comes here. That is not true. He has a permanent body which never separates, or he never gives up that. That's why in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Arjuna, I can remember everything. You cannot remember because I don't give up my body. You give up your body. When you give up your body, you forget. But when you don't give up your body, you remember. That only so much we can understand, because this is like we are only able to hear from acharyas and understand in their way. We have not seen. We don't have experience. See, just like how do we think that I'm going to die? This is quite unnatural for us. That's why when somebody dies, we get shocked. But actually, we should be shocked if somebody is living forever. But you don't get shocked, because it is natural for the living entity. How do you have the concept that somebody is going to live for some time and he is going to die? One should be living all the time, no? Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neve janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayamataparam. There was not a time when you were not there. There was not a time when I was not there. And in future also, there will not be any time when all these people who are gathered here will not be there. That means we were there eternally. We will be there eternally. Now also we are present. This is actually easy to understand, and it is true also. But when we when we are thinking in a bodily concept that somebody is taking birth, somebody is dying, why all these things going on? Why that only a small specific period of time you have to live? What is the purpose? What if you don't live also? What is the problem? Don't live. You come here and you go. After 2 generations, nobody will know your name. What is the purpose? Life is meaningless. So the spiritual understanding is perfect. I was living earlier also, I am living now also, future also I will be living. So there is a meaning for that. You live for some time and you vanish after that. That is the purpose. So that is that we are in that mood only. That's why we get shocked. Actually, our body also, unknowingly, we think that I am in spiritual body. That's why if something happens, we get shocked. Some disease happens, our skin goes very bad, or some accident happens, the body gets broken. People cannot see. As you can explain me more, because when people, that engineering, the medical students, when they chop the dead body for the first time, I heard that they faint on the spot. Many people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That breaks their illusion.
Yeah, we used to have a cadaver, Prabhuji. We used to be 3 people on one side, 3 on the other side, dissecting the body. So that body used to be given. Now it's become virtual because so many cadavers are not available. But we did do it that time. Yeah, but then that was the thing. In the initial 1 week, okay, we felt, then it was like a routine. Okay, we have to do it.
Yeah, it breaks our illusion that I am not in the spiritual body. But all the other time, we will be thinking that I am living eternally. Nothing will happen to me. Otherwise, why do we accumulate so much? Why do we make so much plan for our living? If you really want to become happy in this material world, you should not think about death. It is said, you think that you will live forever, then you will be always happy. As soon as you think that there is death, then all your happiness will stop. So we are living in that illusion. I will live forever and I will keep accumulating. It is not true. But still we are living in spiritual world, virtually. But when that illusion breaks, we get shocked. It is all like, if you think consciously, you will understand. But otherwise, it is like breathing. We keep breathing, but sometimes we breathe knowingly. We bring our consciousness to our breathing only sometimes. Otherwise, most of the time, breathing is going on when we are sleeping or all the time. So most of the time, our consciousness will be like we are in spiritual world. I'm having this body which is living forever, and I will become happy always, and I'm always searching for happiness. Become more and more happy. We just forget the temporary nature of this world. That is nature of, that is arrangement. But for Krishna,
Prabhuji, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is true. In the spiritual world, it is true. In material world, it's an illusion. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, but to understand, to relate to the Lord, always like we've been imagining, and like being a very small neophyte still, we need something to figure into mind that how, or to pray. That is why the deity worship also is like to relate to the Lord. But we suddenly start thinking that he doesn't have a body, he doesn't have, then what is the picture that you relate in your mind so that you can connect it much better to the Lord? So
Here the body is not there. It is told in the Upanishads just to separate our body from the Lord's body.
Okay.
Don't think that your body is same as the Lord's. For that reason, it is told that the Lord has no body. But he has the body which is spiritual. That explanation will not be given by everyone. Impersonalists, they'll stop there itself because their conclusion stops there. Okay, Akayam. Okay, Lord doesn't have the body. Why does Lord they also have some argument, because whatever pain that comes to this body is through the comes to us through this body only, no? If we don't have the body, what is the pain? I have disease, birth, death, old age, disease, everything is for the body. The soul doesn't have any of this. The soul is ever fresh. No disease can come, no death, no birth, nothing is there. So in the Lord is free from all these defects. And how he can become free from that? By not having the body. But there is some correction. By not having the material body. That is the correct understanding. If we say the Lord doesn't have the body, it means to say that the creator is lower than the creation. We have the body, which is the source of our material enjoyment. And the person who has created us, he doesn't have the body. How is that possible? The creator never be lower than the creation. The creator, if I have done something, I have invented something, I have made some new product, that product is always less than me. So Krishna has made us. So we are always less than him. How can we become more than him? That is not possible. In that sense also, we can understand that the Lord has the body which is not material.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Hare
clarity. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thank you for the session. Prabhuji, I just wanted to add to this discussion only that Prabhuji, even though they know they know this, the impersonalists, still they keep their eyes, they keep themselves blind to this fact, no? That when he appeared in the form of that Chaturbhuja form only. But still they want to say that the Lord doesn't have a form. So maybe they do not want to, they want to deny this fact itself. They don't want to continue and understand the personal form of the Lord, no? Prabhuji?
Yeah, this impersonalist, they are not like a person always remains an impersonalist. When they come in touch with the devotees, they will come out of this impersonal understanding. So it is like as long as a person is gets that realization, he will remain in that impersonal understanding. So why they are not coming out of that impersonal understanding itself is a incomplete question, because they come out of impersonal understanding, but they never continue to be an impersonalist. They'll become devotees.
Okay, yeah, sure, yes.
They get shifted to another category. That
Correct,
category
right.
remains there. There are people who are continue to believe in that concept, but those who get realized, they will come out of it. Just like everything is there in atheism is also there, but those atheists who are there in that category will not remain always there. They'll come out, but that one group will remain always there.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Kiruba Shankar Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Namaste.
Hare.
All our literature says that body is perishable and only soul is eternal. So, up to what extent, how to practice soul conscious living? By our chanting, we can achieve it, or it is any other ways?
Yeah, body is perishable, the soul is eternal. How to understand this? That is the question, Prabhu.
How to live a soul conscious life?
Okay. That is definitely when we are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, this is the first benefit that we get. I am not this body, I am the soul. So this understanding we can get only by the mercy of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible, because there are so many layers of ignorance that has been put on the soul. When the soul comes to this material world, they are called moha, maha moha, tamisra, anda tamisra, mrityu, like that. In Bhagavatam it is there. There are 5 layers of covering. When we have, just like you are sitting in a place and it is curtain is put in front of you. 1 curtain, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 5 curtains have put. Even if you remove 1 curtain, you will not get realization. 2nd, 3rd, like that. Similarly, the first one is the person forgets that he is a soul. Okay, that is okay. If you say that you are not what you are, then the question will come, what I am actually. But that question is also answered with another false understanding that you are the body. So when you think that you are the body, then you will not get the question, who am I? So your inquisitiveness is removed there. Just like you have your original identity, your name is Kiruba Shankar Prabhu. Somebody will tell you that you are not Kiruba Shankar Prabhu. Then your question will be, who am I then? But that question will not come to you because another name is already given to you. So you will take up that name and you forget this. Similarly, when we think that I am not the soul, that is the first illusion. Second illusion is I am the body. Then third illusion is whatever comes in contact with this body, it's all mine. This is my home, my bank balance, my computer, my mobile. It's all mine. Nothing belongs to us because the body itself doesn't belong to me. Whatever property I make, it is all in this body's name, not in my name. The name of this body. That is the third one. And fourth one is when somebody takes away or by some means, when we lose these possessions, we get disturbed or we try to hold it back. That is another illusion. Because eternally it is not going to remain as mine only. And the fifth one is mrityu, accepting the death as the end of everything. These are different types of illusion which covers the soul, and it will completely put him in, or eternally put him in the illusion. It is not possible to come out of this by our own understanding. When you read Bhagavatam, we will understand this. Otherwise, there is no personal experience. But when we chant the holy name of the Lord, this is the benefit we get. We feel that I am not this body, I am the soul. Every day we have to chant. And by reading the Shastra, we can understand theoretically. And then when we practice the regulative principles and chanting the holy name of 16 rounds every day, sincerely, with proper mode, one can realize that I am not this body. And that is the preliminary understanding. Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning itself, Krishna says, you are not the body. It is not something very great. For yogis, it is one who is trying himself. It's so very great. Oh, I understood. Aham Brahmasmi. But in Bhagavad Gita, that is the elementary knowledge. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra namabhuti. Krishna is easily giving that understanding. Then what is the greatest knowledge? Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishya satyam te pratijane priyasim. This is the greatest knowledge. When we'll come to that understanding? Only by the mercy of the devotees of Lord. Otherwise, not possible.
Right.
These all things remain as a theory unless we do the practical experiment. Or we have to experiment on ourselves. Chant, read, and be in the association of the devotees. We'll understand. Just like I can give you a lecture, how sweet is a mango for 1 hour. But unless you take the mango and keep it on your tongue, you will not understand. Experience it. People will say, show me God. If God is there, let him come and be present in front of me. All these things, it is all questions which has come out of atheism or their fertile brain. But as soon as you keep one prasadam in their tongue, they'll understand. These all experience. It has to be experienced. You cannot explain by words. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Hope everyone has given the attendance.